And welcome back to the ULCS Summer Playoff. Schalke 04 got the first win in tonight's semi-final, and holy moly, was it chaotic. Deficio, are they going to be that action-packed for the entire series?
I think Vitality will try. I think Schalke will match, so I'm going to say yes. I just want to see if Vitality brought a plan B. Now the plan A didn't work, the one they had 2 weeks to prepare.
I mean, they're going to be running it back, trying as best they can to find those early leads again. They only had about a 1,000 gold lead, though, early on in that match, so they need to get more out of the early game.
Now, we felt like Braum and Alistar, those two bans could change. Now that their Shen first pick was actually very effective for Schalke, there is a chance Vitality said, listen, it was all on us. We made the mistakes. We're the one forcing the plays. We just need to not make those mistakes and we're going to be fine. And they are banning the same thing. So Schalke first picking Shen again?
I mean, maybe we see the same comps and just do it again. That'd be amazing. As far as Vander is concerned, he's had over 400 assists in playoff games alone. You'll see how the back end of these fights, he landed near perfect taunts the entire time. And that's what allowed Upset to do upset things on Ezreal.
I mean, we're running it back. It's the same pick, same order right here. But I want to plant the seed right now. We don't necessarily have to see Poppy going into the support role. They still can flex this either top lane or jungle and try to disrupt things a bit from that game one draft.
All right, everything is the same so far. Vitality sticking with plan A. And they're simply saying this was all on us. It was an execution error. We will not do it again.
Deficio, I can count on one hand the number of times in best of series we've been able to cast the exact same draft in back-to-back games. I think it is amazing. I think when players throw down and say we could have won if we did a few things differently is always exciting to watch. And if this Morgana is banned, Yasuo were Rakan were the last two phase 2 bans.
And after that, you'd have to assume it's the Galio once more for Jizuke. But that's actually where I think you maybe switch it up if you are Vitality.
There must be a change.
I think you save mid lane pick for Jizuke. If you want to give away, you've already played the Poppy support. That's not a surprise for Schalke anymore. They can go for a top laner and counter for Jizuke.
Okay, if they go Galio now, it's a different mid lane matchup because the Cassiopeia was banned away. So we have the first change of the draft compared to game one. Will Schalke still go with Rakan on their side?
I think you do. I think Schalke keep everything exactly the same. Now, what Vitality leave open is the Yasuo, a pick that Nukeduck has gone for a few times, and I actually think can do well into Galio, but they banned that away.
So I wanted to point out, now that we got the Vitality change, there was a good chance we get a Schalke one, and they simply banned this away, saying that was the matchup we wanted to play. Taliyah mid lane is what we're looking at here for Jizuke. It was, funny enough, actually his famous pick from Spring Split playoffs, where he played it almost every single game, and it fits the style he played in the last one.
Exactly. Even though most players put that in the jungle, now most teams do, Vitality still give it to Jizuke. He does the same exact thing. Where last game he had Predator Galio, this time he's got the Taliyah passive, and it'll be roaming to the top lane to get those kills.
Oh, Nukeduck. It's so hard to blind pick against him. He has so many picks he can use. Now, obviously, Vitality can still flex everything around and put the Taliyah jungle, but it's not really been a kick his pick.
And how good is it on 8.16? You know, if it is the patch, it was the flavor of many patches prior to this.
Yeah, to me it feels like a mid lane.
Yeah, I think it's still very, very good, especially in the hands of someone like Nukeduck. Schalke are changing things up, going more aggressive here with the Irelia mid.
So they know they have too much physical damage if they go for a tank top lane, so they take the Rumble for Vizicsacsi, which actually been his best carry champ if you look at this entire split, but it does change the way Schalke can play because their front line is not very strong this time compared to last game.
But Vitality don't need to change too many things up. It looks like it's going to be a different top laner. It's the Ornn, but it's still the same thing. Kled presses R, you charge in, you fight. Ornn calls in the Forge God, you're also looking for those big 5v5s.
But we're not looking at a draft from Vitality where they have insane split pushing. And that was one of the things we looked at for them going into this series that could be an advantage. It's actually on Schalke's side with the Irelia.
And I also think that Vitality might be focusing themselves a little bit more in the draft. Last game they played around top side and their bottom lane was hung out to dry. Amazing actually punished Vitality down there. This time with an Ornn, you don't necessarily look to gank for that champion. Kikis can spend more time around Jizuke and Attila in the early game.
I just want to see this mid lane matchup. Last game with the Predator Galio, Jizuke on purpose fell down a couple of waves in CS because he wanted to go top bot lane all the time. He will do the same in this one, because if he stays mid for too long, Nukeduck kills him. And the moment Nukeduck gets ahead on this Irelia, he can take over the game.
The moment he gets ahead, we have to see exactly if a Nukeduck can. Of course, the Cassio into Galio matchup from the previous game worked flawlessly for Schalke 04, and Nukeduck ran away with the game. The year of the Duck is potentially back on the cards. Now, while the coaches have just left the stage, we will be getting an interview with the coach of the Split. If you guys jump onto e.lollysports.com, you can check out the all-pro teams, including coach of the Split. And let's talk to him right now. Drakos, what does he have to say?
Thank you very much, guys. Now, coming into this draft, we saw mostly the same up until that second pick phase, but a few changes coming in, the Rumble and the Irelia. Why did you guys decide to switch it up?
We decided to switch it up because they also switched it up with the band. So they obviously wanted to change something from the last draft. No, they wanted to open a bit more the Galio. We took it. So now we just felt that we want to have a stronger fighting mid jungle to be able to contest the Tali, and that was the only reason.
All right, interesting to have that insight. Back to you guys in the game.
Thank you very much. Mid-jungle, Nukeduck gets ahead, and that's how we can win the game.
I like how he brings that up, too, because I was just going to say, Irelia can fight a lot earlier than a Cassiopeia in these ganks that Amazing went for. Last game, he was very active around mid, trying to shut down Zuke. He's actually set up even better for it now with Nukeduck.
Yeah, I'm going to make it very clear. If Vitality make the same kind of mistakes in this game as the last one, and Schalke go even in this early game, I really just think Nukeduck takes over the game on this Irelia here. I don't feel like they have enough great answers other than potentially the Poppy support to try and deny some of the dashes, but Nukeduck goes to a side lane and no one can stop him.
It's definitely true, and the styles that these teams want to play have changed a lot, specifically on the side of Schalke. It's no longer about kiting back your backline. You do have the options to play the map and play much more through Nukeduck this time around.
Let's see what impact that also has then on Upset. Of course, Nukeduck is the story of this game, but in the previous game, Upset actually set a third highest damage per minute record since we've been tracking the stat in 2014. 1,500 damage per minute, 44.6% of his team's total DPS.
It was just a perfect setup for him because in the early game, he didn't need to do a whole lot. He wanted to stay safe until Amazing showed up. And once he got 2 items, the first team fight happened. He carried that one, and then the following 3-4 fights within like 10 minutes, he just dealt insane damage in all of them.
And that's classic Upset style too, right? This guy actually a lot of times is willing to just farm out the laning phase, let Vander roam to other areas, he'll lose gracefully, and then turn it on when it comes to those 5 versus 5s. He will play an aggressive Ezreal where he dives forward, Arcane shifts into the fight to lay down the big damage.
So we know that he can carry in the late game. The junglers was the story of the first game. Could Kikis just run over Amazing? Amazing is a weak link. He won't be able to do anything. Well, the Skarner pick was great. His performance was good. Can he do the same here? We need to follow where he's going. So far, Kikis did not go for the same level 2 gank he did in game 1.
He didn't, but I would like to point out Jizuke has really good control over the waves early on the Celia. He can press the Q, knock out those minions, and Nukeduck won't be able to match that same sort of level of wave clear at any stage in the game. So it will sort of unlock Kikis to play more aggressively even than he did in the last one.
Yeah, with Irelia, you're always kind of waiting for level 6 because you need that all-in to also enable another dash that just makes it impossible to even flash away from Irelia. Ideally, also, if you go for the early Sheen, you have even more kill pressure once you stack up your passive, and that's kind of thing. The first couple of levels, you're fine just farming.
But when it comes to side lanes later on, that's when you really take over level 6. You have Kill Threat. Of course, Nukeduck has the Ignite as well to add a little bit more oomph for that early all-in. And then Schalke can send him side lane. He won't have the TP to react and get there with the rest of his squad, but he will have the threat onto the towers later on.
And we were talking about Vitality, you know, emotions always, confidence. They go into each game saying we can destroy these guys, we're way better than they are. They never actually shy away from some trash talk. And that's obviously great as long as you're winning. But for Vitality now, when they're trying close to the same plan here in game 2, once again with the first 3 picks, giving over Shen support to Schalke, it really feels like this is what they think works best for them in the first rotation. And this all-in is already in favor of Nukeduck. More of these will happen. Vitality, though, as I was mentioning here, like, because they go with the same kind of bans into the same first 3 picks, it really feels like they need to find success in this game. Otherwise, if you go down 0-2, you might completely change your draft.
They definitely do need to find that level of success, but I do want to point out how cleanly that was actually done by Nukeduck. This guy plays a billion different champions, but he's so adept at all of them. Even just the micro trade right there, dodging away from the seismic shove, landing all his abilities, maximizing his DPS is something that'll give Schalke fans a lot of faith come the mid game.
And Amazing also went mid in the last game. there's actually something he didn't really do against Splyce. It was Xerxes who went mid with Nisqy against Nukeduck. It got Xerxes ahead. Nukeduck didn't have the same impact we had seen during the regular season. Last game, Amazing was around mid early. He looked towards it already here, and we're seeing more focus. And the reason shutting down Jiizuke is important is because mid push is what enables counter jungling. So if you stop the mid lane from pushing, Kikis can't do more.
And it also enables roaming down to these side lanes. We saw Vitality try to dive top lane so consistently last game. This time around, it's all about shutting down upset bot side, but feels like Schalke already have some clue as to what's going on.
Kikis and Jiizuke are coming in. The flash stun doesn't find a target, and Vander will manage to make it out with that shadow dash.
Got backfire.
Flash follow from Amazing, lands the fracture. Seismic shove won't find anybody in first blood. Picked up by Vizicsacsi. They managed to Vitality escape without any further conflicts.
Worst possible start for Vitality. They invest so much in sending Jiizuke at bot lane, and Jack Troll does not manage to flash and knock Vander into the wall. These mechanical mistakes will cost you.
It definitely will, especially when the enemy jungler, Amazing, reads you like a book. He saw Kikis and Jiizuke clearing out some vision all towards the bottom lane. It took them so long to actually get there that it ended up giving time for Amazing to rotate down and the teleport to be called in from Vizicsacsi.
I mean, the whole thing is set up in advance. Jiizuke is losing a lot of time mid, but Jack Troll not getting Vander into the turret, or sorry, into the wall, well, then you're gonna lose the trade. You can't get out, there's a turret in the way.
Yeah, Jack Troll also could have used the Steadfast Presence to cancel out on the taunt and lock down that kill onto Vander, but he couldn't press it early enough, and that led to the eventual escape and turn.
Of course, the teleport from Chachi means he gets first blood. Gentlemen, you said it, reading Vitality like a book. And if you look at Vitality's last sort of games during the regular season, this is their entire summer split regular season. Look at all the wins since Kikis joined the squad, and it was through very similar style of play.
And you see one loss right there. That was a loss to Schalke, and that was the only time they were shut down early on in that split.
Yeah, and of course we can look at Schalke's exact win-loss graphic here as well, and it was a fairly similar run of form until they dropped those games right at the very end.
Exactly, they looked really, really good for so long, then all of a sudden lost to H2K, that forced a tiebreaker the next day, then they lost to the same Vitality squad. So this is a team that very easily could have been our second seed coming into playoffs, but their late season losses cost them big.
Well, right now we have Kikis invading again. Jiizuke is right behind him, but there's no buff, no camp for him to take. He's actually not been successful. Amazing is already level 6. Once again, it is the Schalke jungler winning out on the early fights, even though they don't actually meet each other, fight over camps, I guess we should say.
Yeah, and this is where I get a little bit nervous for Vitality, because I don't think this team wins if they just play it slow, scale up. That's not this style of
They're not drafting for it either.
They're not drafting for it either, so the fact that Kikis didn't go for the level 2 gank, then makes the one-play bottom lane, it doesn't work out, makes me nervous because I don't want to see them slow down. They need to keep the tempo high and find these advantageous positions.
Well, we keep looking at Jiizuke on the side of Vitality with this Taliyah pick. He knows he will struggle in the mid lane, especially now that we have that Sheen we mentioned earlier from Nukeduck. Level 6 is there. I'm predicting an all-in and probably a kill, because there's no flash on Jiizuke, so Nukeduck getting a kill in about 2 minutes time.
Yeah, and for Jiizuke, it's not about the 1v1 mid, it's about vacating that. Look at the good control wards in that bottom side of the river. That is setting up for an eventual roam from Jiizuke. You can see he's already sort of in the process of going for to be able to back up his bottom lane and look for a potential fight.
Well, let's see whether or not he gets the opportunity, because Amazing was already sniffing in towards the mid lane, as is Kikis. All right, good force to it. Some chunk damage from the thanks of that Sheen. Really using that Blade Surge to perfection, jumping out of the risk of that shove.
And notice how he's going all in, because Amazing is behind him. He knows, I'm here, you know, I have a jungler that can match what the enemy jungler is doing. There's really no risk of Nukeduck dying. And it's just smart again to focus mid lane. Kikis might die here.
Well, let's take a look. Impale is available to him. Force Duet looking for the stun. Impale comes out. Vanguard's Edge finally comes down, and there's the dashes looking for the reset. Stand United is available as well. Support Vander coming in to join the fight, and that was just flawless.
Schalke have been so good at just knowing when and where Vitality want to fight and just matching them. This Shen pick is really doing wonders to make 2v2s, 3v2s in favor of Schalke.
Oh, cover shot.
Uh-oh.
Where is he going? Cableshot actually goes into the wall, flashes over. Vizicsacsi's going to cut off the escape with the equalizer. Now, Call of the Forge God is alive. It'll buy a couple seconds of time, but the question is, how many seconds of time? All right, there it is, and continuing to run for his life. If those Crystal Slashes and Electro Harpoons come down, Chachi's just donated another kill to Schalke.
And this Vitality early game is just completely backfiring on their side. They failed the first play on bottom side. They know they can't win mid, and yet Kikis walks into the mid lane, dances in front of Amazing and Nukedog, and obviously they just kill him instantly. Schalke are in full control, and the only lane winning is bot lane.
Yeah, and Kikis has his flash. He can use it way sooner. Instead, gets CC'd up. He doesn't dodge away from the initial skill shot, and that leaves Jiizuke completely hung out to dry. Big mechanical and decision-making mistakes from the side of Vitality.
And this is where, again, we talk about the emotions, you know, the mentality of Vitality. When they're not able to get successful invades off, they look a bit lost.
Yeah, and we need to see them buckle down right now because their bottom lane is doing so well. Even after the mishap that was that initial turret dive, there's still a big CS lead for Attila. They just took down that turret solo, 2 versus 2, picked up an Infernal Drake on top of that. So Vitality really need to leverage the power of Attila and Jacktroll at the moment to turn around what has been a downward spiral of an early game.
Rift Herald for Amazing. Jacktroll and Attila, obviously, as you just said, Ender, are trying now to carry the team. The Taliyah pick that was valued by Vitality in the draft so far have not succeeded in anything. And it will actually be even harder now. The early lane phase is over because you don't have that push mid into early roam to a side. Schalke can continue to do exactly what they're doing now, and that's set up Nukedog to succeed.
Interestingly, because that tower has fallen, a little more difficult to play that lane. Of course, that very first roam to the bottom lane by Vitality, the fact that it was thwarted, has had this cascading effect on the game. And Schalke, they prepared well. They came into the series well, and you can feel the tone and the tension has changed now, in contrast to the first game, which was a little more loose, a little more action-packed. Schalke have got the game at a pace that they're more comfortable with.
But even when Vitality find themselves falling behind early on, they still play as if they have a lead. That's why you see them grouping up with 2 members mid lane. They're trying to push in that wave so they can be the ones dictating where the next play is on the map. Perhaps it's around that top lane. That tower could be exposed if they send multiple members up there. But if they take an even fight, it should not go that well.
Yeah, if you fall behind with a comp that already gets outscaled, you get forced to take some very high-risk plays. Because you know you need to force some fights to actually get that advantage. If you just do nothing, Schalke get a Trinity Force on Nukedog. Upset is already going towards his second item at this point. You know, the tier is already stacking. Like, it's not going to get better for Vitality if they don't start getting ahead now. Yeah,
and the struggle when you try to send multiple members towards the top side of the map, when the other team has a Rift Herald, means you immediately lose a tower down bottom side. You can see now they're sort of in you know, danger control as they move multiple members down here to stop this Rift Herald from getting another charge down onto their inner turret, because that's the one that really does damage to the next.
Jiizuke is level 9 now. I was about to say level 8, but it is level 9 just for him. Nukedog is level 10 in that mid lane. And I think once he gets the Trinity Force, he will go to the side lane.
And it's pretty much exactly what you expected. So for sure, you talked about the fact that this matchup, if Nukedog is able to get some time in a 1v1, in this case it ended up being a 2v2, that got Nukedog ahead. Jiizuke has just not been able to use that Weaver's Wall. He's not been able to impact these side lanes. And with a 2,000 gold lead at 12.5 minutes, the Trinity Force completed, the window of opportunity gets progressively slimmer and smaller and riskier the longer this game goes with the composition that Schalke puts in.
Yeah, and I actually think Schalke can look for a fight now. Not just Nukedog, but Chachi in the top lane has his double pen items on the Rumble. That is going to be so much damage he can put out onto the 2 low mobility backliners of Taliyah and Varus. The Equalizer is going to rip them apart.
100%. Also, if you look at Capuchat, he's obviously building early magic resistance because he was against the Rumble. What does Schalke do? They send the Aurelia into his lane saying, yeah, you have nothing. Like, you literally can't protect yourself against this champion. And Jiizuke will have to go to the other side lane against the Magic Pen Rumble. So there's just a lot of free damage from Schalke based on itemization. Vitality are trying to get control mid because they have that Varus who's ahead.
And in theory, what Vitality want to do is push out mid and then collapse onto the side lane. Get one of these split pushers from Schalke caught off guard. But you can't do that against a Shen. Vander will immediately make any fight that Vitality think they have the numbers advantage in go completely the other way.
Upset's gone forward, Upset's gone forward, but so is Vander. There's the flash taunt. Attila's burning down low. Ignite might just take him out. No, it's a flame spitter on the back end. Now all of a sudden, Upset needs to run for his life. It's a 1-for-1 AD carry for support. Call of the Forge God comes down. Upset is the target. He's holding onto his cleanse and his flash. All of a sudden, Vitality are split. They're not going the same direction. They're not going for the same champion.
Yeah, they could have gone for Vizicsacsi right there, who used his flash, gone onto him, but no, it's Jiizuke going down there, Cabochard engaging in the mid, and once again, not finding that communication that's necessary to win out in these fights.
Ooh, we might not be done mid lane. I'm seeing Amazing around. He's on his way.
Uh-oh.
He is indeed. Impale still available to him, and he manages to lock down Jiizuke. It's Chachi on a killing spree. 3-0-1.
Small window for Vitality there. They didn't use it. Schalke actually ends up winning the fight in the end by staying around mid. Kikis was looking for something there, but Chachi can just walk away. And while all this happened, Nuclear just returned to top lane, and he's gonna take down a turret.
Yeah, building up a big CS lead as the rest of Schalke just win fights around this middle lane, but Vitality still are playing forward.
There's no flash for Attila. I saw Amazing coming down and wasn't able to find an opportunity. With a 3,000 gold deficit, Vitality have never won from behind. That is a very sizable gold lead, and they're 0-4 in summer when behind a 15.
And this matchup between Schalke and Vitality was supposed to be Brain versus Brawl. Right now, I feel like Schalke are able to actually match the early game aggression, but they're also gonna be the smarter team. And that's why they won game 1. That's definitely why they're winning game 2. Because they're simply reading every play Vitality is making, and then when the mechanics are not there, or the communication, Vitality get punished.
Yeah, and it's actually Upset that starts us off by jumping in, but an immediate taunt flash there from Vander to trade 1-for-1. But they get the AD carry on the side of Vitality. At this point, it's just Schalke waiting for the disengage. They're trying to play back until Nukeduck gets here, but then Cabo goes on to Upset. Jiizuke's flashing over the wall into Chachi. They could have easily gotten that kill onto the Rumble if they were just on the same page.
Yeah, Jiizuke very clearly thought that Arnold was going to the Rumble. Otherwise, there was no reason for him to flash the wall. So he was expecting the ult to go a different direction.
And of course, Amazing held onto his flash ult to catch Jiizuke not 30 seconds later. Schalke, with a very strong showing again, have got themselves an advantage. 6 kills to 1. You can see the item power spikes already starting to pull ahead. And all of a sudden, that's a very good catch onto Upset, but not enough just yet. Stand United by a few extra seconds. 100 HP, but Upset survives. Vitality get the dragon, but what cost? All of a sudden, Cabochard is locked down with the Impale. Taunted up with the dash.
Here comes Nukeduck.
Vander's life. Nukeduck is looking to clean house. He's got the Vanguard's Edge available. Looking for the reset. Flawless duet. Manages to get the double stun. Kikis is killed in the back end, and it is Nukeduck trying to find Jiizuke. Ignite is available to him if he can get in range. Looking for one more
Oh, man!
So elegantly done, as well as a mid-tower to boot.
Schalke are doing everything. Upset lives for so long, then Nukeduck returns on the flank, and they're going to pick up yet another turret as they continue to thwart every single attempt from Vitality.
Vitality's answer when they fall behind is go mid. Fight mid, force mid. Schalke are sitting mid already, being like, sure, we have a turret, we will fight you. This is the initial engagement. It's actually pretty smart to try and get Upset into the wall.
Yeah, they literally land everything onto Upset. They bang him into the wall, knock him up, stun him, knock him up again underneath the tower, but it's still not enough damage because they're not far ahead enough in this game, and then they have to try and kite back, but you can't do that against Schalke's comp.
First pick, Shen, again showing up. Second rotation, Skarner, again showing up. Schalke have found 2 picks that seem to dismantle Vitality.
I almost feel like on the side of Vitality, they would have preferred the Galio-Cassiopeia matchup they had in game 1. That definitely worked better for them. This is a team now that...
Jiizuke would prefer it.
They're collapsing in this game. After losing game 1, made mistakes in the early game, got punished. Game 2, worst possible start with the Roam bot lane into snowball from the mid, and now team fights in favor of Schalke.
And the difficulty for Vitality is not just the way they play, but the way they draft. They don't leave themselves a lot of room to come back in games. It's all about drafting for team fight, drafting hard engage. Yeah. But what do you do when you can't win a fight that you engage? You just lose, or you sit behind your tower and turrets quickly go down and down and down. So you have to make use of your windows where you are stronger, but right now they're significantly far behind.
And with Schalke's much superior early game, once again, all the predictions coming into the day was around Vitality winning early, Schalke then trying to get it too late. It's completely gone right now. It's actually Schalke just being able to win everything. We're going back to mid lane.
All right, take a look. Call of the Forge God goes out, and this will be a kill onto Vander. This is, of course, because Nukeduck is pushing in the top lane. He's on the inner top lane turret. Gonna be some tower defense on the cards. Chain of
Rumble, here we
Corruption
go.
is gonna lock down Upton. He's got no flash. He's got no
got
flash,
him.
but he gets a kill in reply. Jizuke and Attila are down. Now Amazing and Vizichachi are looking to run down Cabochon. Flame Spitter as well as those Electro Harpoons is buying some time. Nukeduck is making his way through the northernmost jungle, trying to come to mid lane. Kikis, Cabo, and Jackal realize they are now being hunted by the Schalke Murder Squad.
That's a Shen!
Stand United's gonna come down from Vander, and it will be at least just the one kill. And all of a sudden, Nukeduck, can he find anybody else?
He's still on the flank, but does he want the 1v2? No, they just barely dodge away from him, but he wanted that fight. Schalke continue to just blow Vitality to pieces here.
That mid lane turret is still standing, and Vitality have tried to force fights around it like 3-4 times already. And we're only 20 minutes into the game, but they keep running past the turret, trying to kill Schalke.
Deficio, do you know what the definition of insanity is? Trying the same thing again and again and expecting different results.
But to be fair, in this game, there is no other way to win once you fall behind. Now, again, the chance of you actually winning with this comp in pure 5-on-5 is not very high, and that's why they keep losing.
Well, this is, of course, the first semi-final. You saw that clip a little moment ago. Fnatic take on Misfits tomorrow. Let's come back to this one, and you can see this is the start of the fight. They get Vander, but nothing else.
Yeah, good reaction there from Jack Troll to use the steadfast presence to cancel out the taunt from Vander, results in them getting the pick, but then they try to press forward, they try to dive into the tower, but it's Attila who ends up tanking. That means Upset can trade back 1-for-1, and the rest of Schalke just keep chasing down Vitality because their damage dealers are dead. They cannot go for the fight any longer.
And I like this game from Vizichachi. I feel like he's never there just when the fight starts, but he kind of sneaks in from the side every time. He peeks his head in towards the mid lane. He's like, oh yeah, they're running it down, they're fighting again. And he just lays an ulti on the back line every single time. He's 6-0-3 now. He's been actually the big carry if you look at just the damage in team fights so far, because Upset's job is dash backwards, try and run away.
It's a totally different role from his in the last game too, because yesterday he was a giant meat shield, he's absorbing a whole lot of damage on the Maokai. Now he's back to dealing damage on the Rumble. Schalke have not just shown that they're better than Vitality in this first game and now in the second game, but that they can play multiple different types of play against the squad.
And again, we have to remember Vitality 11-1 with Kikis. We've not had these games where they would completely mess up the early game and then be forced to try and get back in the late game. They were 0-4 when they're down in gold. We saw that little drop down earlier. So it's a new Vitality we're watching. And it's a Vitality who had 2 weeks to prep for this. 2 weeks, 5 games of Schalke versus Splyce to scout the pick and ban phase. And then they do the same first rotation twice in a row. And it's not been working for them.
And we get to see a crystal clear glimpse into the mentality and the mindset of the squad. If the honeymoon period is now being challenged, if 2 games in a row Vitality lose with 3/5 of the same draft, how do they respond in game 3? And the question is, what starts to change? Is the Skarner and the Shen, do they become questionable in the draft or stealable? And then what is Schalke's answer as well?
Yeah, because it's a little bit hard. Their Poppy Virus that they take early was actually really good this game. They got the bot lane turret down in 2v2 despite failing the first play. So that part was actually successful. The problem is the second part of the draft was where it felt like they were running out of options to kind of play around what they had already drafted, because they want to have Kikis on Trundle, but they're not getting mid lane picks that can actually beat Nukeduck.
Yeah, and that's why I think next game, they actually have side selection. I think if you lose 2 games in a row, you change things completely up. Vitality, maybe choose blue side, look for a first pick themselves, maybe in the support role. Try to get something that really changes and revitalizes this roster, because that's what they're lacking.
Yeah, and of course, part of the reason we're talking so much about that is the fact that this composition Schalke have put together, they're already 8,000 gold up. They have all of the tools they need to finish this game out, and we've seen how good Schalke can be in the mid to late game. It is definitely one of their strengths as a squad, and today, against Vitality, they're showing they can come to play in the early game as well.
Yeah, they really understand how Vitality wants to play early. They know Jizuke wants to roam all the time, so they draft a strong 1v1 pick for Nukeduck. And we have to remember, Jizuke has blind picked his mid twice now. He took the Galio, he took the Taliyah, even though they could actually wait. They had already enough picks locked into just last pick for Jizuke, but they want the roaming pick, and it's really benefiting the mid lane in favor of Schalke.
Yeah, and of course, coming into today's matchup, we announced the coach of the split, Andre Giotto, and in the interview with him, he gave a shout out to the entire support staff behind the Schalke players on stage. And it just really shows in this matchup. We came in saying, if Amazing's not on Sejuani, it's going to be problems. If Vander doesn't have hard engage, it's going to be problems. Vitality are going to smash them in the early game. And all three of those things have been proven not to be true in today's BO5.
Yeah, the growth from last week to this week from Schalke has been massive. Because again, this is a team that went to the 5th game against Splyce. Looked shaky in some of those. It was Nukeduck in a side lane that won them those key matches. Now, it's the whole team working so well together. Individual players stepping up and really performing today.
All right, so trying to set up around Baron. Schalke have had mixed results around Baron, I'll say, in the summer split. Is it Baron or bust to win this game out? I can see Vizicsacsi down in the bottom lane, but what other options do they have?
You don't actually need Baron if you are Schalke. Obviously, they will eventually try and play around it, but you already have a fantastic 5-on-5 comp. You also have the superior split push comp. Like, you're actually gonna win both sides. The Taliyah pick is effectively useless at this point because he didn't manage to snowball early. If Jiizuke, of course, can try and get the perfect knockback into a burst combo, yes, that's great, but the chance of doing that is very low.
Well, you can see the tweet from Memento. Vitality look broken. Schalke are just ahead of them in every play. Excellent prep, and Vitality need a mental reset. But I'm going to bring us back to the Schalke point. Do they have too many options? Vitality, Schalke
Can you have too many options?
I think if you're Schalke, yes, because the concern I have is they are a team that sometimes hesitates to pull the big trigger. They like the small wins. They like the chip away at the enemy until you can knock them over. So maybe having too many ways that you can win gives you too many options and you have to play slowly through one of them.
They are a team that definitely looks to play slowly. That's why a lot of their moves have been reactionary to that of Vitality, but I think that with the lead they have now, a Guardian Angel on Nukeduck, this team is not going to be scared at all to look for the plays.
Well, let's take a look. Impale's available for Amazing. Who will the target be? It looks to be Jacktroll, if I hold that correctly. Actually, no, he's holding onto a cooldown just for now. Here comes Vizicsacsi with the equalizer.
Oh, Chachi!
So far, 1-4, but look at the damage from Vizicsacsi. He completely zones away Jiizuke and Attila. Without any damage dealers, Vitality are routed and running for their lives.
Well, Schalke just answered your question right there, Quickshot. They are here. They force the fight in the mid lane at whatever cost. They just throw their bodies at Vitality and brute force them down.
There was so much CC thrown from Vitality, but they only managed to kill the support. Then Chachi once again peeks his head in towards the mid lane when a fight is about to start and lands a sick ulti in the backline into effectively zoning 2 people on his own. So this is the first play where it actually looks like Vitality are gonna get an early kill, but it's on Vander.
Exactly. 5 members of Vitality are here, but Chachi comes around from the back, lands a 3-man equalizer into a flash overheat flame spitter. He can then Zonius to buy more and more time while almost getting the kill onto Attila, while the rest of his team gets the kills on the other half.
The Chachi story this split is actually fantastic because last split a lot of people said this guy, he's almost overrated now. The old MVP Chachi that would just play Renekton, sit between 2 turrets and kill you, he's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. He's just stuck on tanks. Certain analysts called it out saying, can we get some carries for Chachi? Too many tanks. But this split, he's actually become one of the best tank players we have.
Yep.
He is probably one of the biggest champion pools in terms of tanks because he has the Poppy pick that is such a special one for him specifically. And now with the Rumble that we've seen a few times, he's shown that there are certain carries available still.
And it's also a legacy pick. It's one we have seen him playing many years ago as well. And you know, this performance, 6-0-5 for Vizicsacsi, 11 of his team's 15 kills. He's been exactly where his team has needed him every single time, which is why Deficio keeps saying he just pokes his head in and then wins the team fight. Like, hey guys, I'm here. This is all I need to do. And right now, Amazing is looking for Attila. No flash. And that was just all too easy. 5v4 now, and Schalke are looking at the base.
Schalke, come on, they're already dead. Just finish this one here. You're so far ahead in the game. 11,000 gold, superior team fight. We're just waiting for that Baron, potentially. Is that the last chance for Kikis? It looks like it.
I mean, they can go for the Baron right now. There's no AD carry on the side of Vitality. Vander and Nukeduck are here to zone Kikis away from this pit while the rest of the team looks to secure it.
Oh, this is going to hurt so much when they turn the attention. Call the Forge God comes out, and Nukeduck, I'm waiting to see the ultimate. Foolish Duet will go on rather. And Amazing will stay inside the pit. He's keeping the Baron aggro. This is getting a little bit hairier. Jacktroll and Kikis staying close by. That Weaver's
upset.
But look at the equalizer over the wall. Kikis is already down. So is Jacktroll. 2 quick kills for Schalke. They jump back into the pits and rest of Vitality run away. And that is the Baron secure.
They have so much mobility, they don't need CC to zone kick us. They just jump over the wall and straight up kill him.
All right, take a look at this. Jizuke is going to run for his life. Cleanse and Flash is available to him. Already used the Cleanse. There's a teleport in the bottom lane. There goes the Flash as well. Keeps throwing down the minefield, looking for a seismic charge. Electro Harpoon will go a little bit wide. Of course, the Flash has already been used. Yeah, you're not going to get past that Flame Spitter. Amazing. 2-0-9 on this Skarner. Second game in a row. Setting up plays just like this.
Let's see. Vitality at first, with only 4 members, tried to stop Schalke from staying at the Baron, but obviously Amazing and Vizicsacsi kept it fairly low. And the moment Kikis shows up, it's all in Schalke's control to jump out and kill him. And this is good to see because this was a problem in the regular season for Schalke. The Barons were not always clean, but this is a perfect setup on their side.
Yeah, a lot of times they weren't able to control it or they got thrown away with the steal. You can just see visibly the frustration there from Jizuke. He just feels so hopeless in this game.
Well, Schalke are sitting in a position where they've had the largest goal lead at 30 minutes this split. Kikis is going to flash into the wall. Not going to die just yet, but here comes Vander in from the back. Caboshot's joined the fight, so has Upset. It's a 4v3, while Nukeduck, by the way, is pushing in the top lane. Call the Forge God does little to stop Schalke Nullfear, and Caboshot is down. The tower in the top lane is down. Jack Troll is down. Both of these teams were the 2 hottest looking teams at the end of the regular season with their win streaks, with their carries. And Vitality came in today, arguably the favorite, but they are falling apart. Schalke Nullfear are on the Nexus again at 31 minutes on the clock. It has been an obliteration of Vitality, and Schalke Nullfear are 2-0 up.
Schalke came so prepared for this series. Everyone stepping up to the challenge. Last game we had Upset carrying. This time it was Nukeduck and Chachi beasting all over those fights.
And I love the fact that it's another game where Vitality, they just come charging forward, throwing punches left and right. But they're not able to hit anything. They're literally closing their eyes when they go for something. Mechanical misplays, overextending. And Schalke every single time we're like, yeah, we're ready for that. We know exactly what to do now, and they just completely outplay them.
Look at Amazing on screen. Nukeduck Upset. There's not even a smile between them because these boys are deadly serious. One more game is needed to close the series out for a team that didn't even make playoffs in spring. The coach of the split on screen right now, Andre Giotto, leading the team through game 3 prep.
Yeah, they're playing like a team that you really want to send to your final here in the EULCS because they have so many ways they can draft now that we have found at least a 2nd or 3rd champ for Amazing in the Skarner. We haven't even seen what happens if that gets banned away.
Yep.
It feels like for game 3, the support bans are not working. You gotta go for someone else.
And the stakes are so real. Vitality are the 2nd team behind Fnatic when it comes to highest potential championship points, when it comes to Worlds qualifications. And if they were to fall and potentially fall in the 3rd place, playoff, Schalke could be going to Worlds as the 2nd or 1st seed. But they need one more win to get to this final.
And that would be just an incredible change for a team that, again, did not even make it into playoffs last split. They changed up the jungle position, brought in Amazing. Start of the split was slow. It was slow going. They turned it around and now are completely rejuvenated, pounding Vitality.
And Ender, Schalke have been slow all split.
Yeah.
They have not been renowned for their ability to play the early game.
Not this series.
I said quite harshly, I think last week, that Amazing decided to play the early game on Jarvan in game 5 of the series. His Skarner has been near flawless to open up both of these games.
And he learned a lot from that game because it's been really good today on the Skarner, making it happen, bringing new picks into the game. It's just so different here from Schalke, and that's what's so exciting.
Deficio, I just have one last replay that I'd like you to talk me through and then frame exactly how Schalke got so far ahead that they could do this.
I mean...
Oh, you hate to see that.
Yeah, we had to show that again, didn't we? That's really the tilter right there. I mean, this fight in itself is obviously Schalke favorite from the get-go, and they don't even have Nukeduck here.
Yeah, you know, you're in a situation with Vitality, you can't really clear the waves, you have to force these fights. Of course, it doesn't work out when it's just, when you're this far behind, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board in the next match because this is the 2nd time in a row we've seen the same things play out.
Exactly, the fact they're giving the Shen, the Skarner, and the Ezreal has been good for Schalke. I feel like especially the Skarner pick has been huge for Amazing to have more early game impact. And then again, the fact you're spending 2, I almost said wasted. Actually, I will say that. You waste 2 support bans to give a Shen over. That's been very successful from Vander's side. That's when you know you got to change up a bit. You still have 3 bans. You can use them on something else. Ideally, you try and go for maybe Amazing.
Well, we'll find out if they do. Just a quick update for you guys. Don't forget that tomorrow we've got the current EU LCS champions, Fnatic, taking on Misfits Gaming. Game 1 will be starting at 5 p.m. Central European Summertime, and ready check 30 minutes before that. Now, for Schalke versus Vitality, after the break, we're going to take a look at the history between Upset versus Attila as Schalke prepare for match point in tonight's semi-final. Do not go anywhere. Well, let's take a look. Impale is available to him. Force Duet looking for the stun. Impale comes out. Vanguard's Edge finally comes down, and there's the dashes looking for the reset. Stand United is available as well. Nukeduck is looking to clean house. He's got the Vanguard's Edge available, looking for the reset. Oh! Flawless Duet manages to get the double stun. Kikis is killed in the back end. Well, let's take a look. Impale's available for Amazing. Who will the target be? It looks to be Jack Troll, if I hold that correctly. Actually, no, he's holding onto a cooldown just for now. Here comes Vizichachi with the equalizer.
Oh, Chachi!
So far, but look at the damage from Vizichachi. Staying close by. That Weaver's
upset.
But look at the equalizer over. Kikis is already down. So is Jack Troll. 2 quick kills for Schalke. They jump back into the pits and rest of Vitality run away. It has been an obliteration of Vitality, and Schalke Nulfira 2-0 up.
Schalke came so prepared for this.